have no issue with the LBGT. I have no problem with nobody. Okay, love who you love, do what you do.
Exactly.
I just personally come from an era where a man was a man and a woman was a woman, and it wasn't but two genders, and that's just how I rocked.
Me
now,
too.
you could identify as a goldfish if you feel it.
Right.
I don't care. That ain't my business. It becomes my business when you try to make me play the game with you. I'm not gonna call you a goldfish, but you want to be a goldfish, you go be a goldfish. It's all
Amen.
good. I mean, it's just, we live in a weird time, man.
It's only a matter of time before he gets canceled, and he is apologizing for making these comments. Without question, he is definitely going to be issuing a groveling apology for having what I believe is a non-controversial opinion.
And where did he get that from?
If you let this 5-year-old boy decide to eat candy all day, he's going to do that.
Exactly.
Like, when did it become a good idea to let a 5-year-old, let a 6-year-old, let a 12-year-old make a life-changing decision for themselves?
Right.
When did that happen?
Right.
Like, I don't understand that. I don't get that.
And to medicate these young kids that are 5, 6, growing up and knowing that it affects their brain, it affects their organs, it makes them sick, but they're not allowed to do drugs, they're not allowed to do alcohol.
Right.
We can medicate them.
He can't drive a car yet, but he can decide his sex.
Right.
I'm just wondering how long is it going to take for him to come out and retract this statement and say, hey, you know, I respect everybody. You know, I love the LGBTQ community, and I didn't mean to offend anybody by my statements. This is not my area of expertise. I did more studying and reading, and I became educated, aka brainwashed on the issue, right? They're going to re-educate him on it, right? That's what happens every time. Again, I'm going to see if this man stands his ground, right? Because he said some stuff now. Then again, the mob is most certainly going to be upset. How long do you think it will be before Neo issues an apology, before he comes out with some statement clarifying his comments? How long do you think? Okay, I'm giving it a couple days, a couple days, but I hope that he doesn't fold, right? I hope he doesn't back down to the mob. I hope he stands his ground. But hey, I don't know. I doubt it. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We have to do a follow-up video that... Don't get me wrong, I take no pleasure in doing, okay? Because I already knew I would have to do this video when I made the original video, which this video, the follow-up video, is about Neo's apology for simply stating the truth about biology and gender in a rant that he went on Vlad TV, in which he declared that it is wrong for parents to try to transition their kids, and that kids don't know any better, and we shouldn't be pushing this stuff on children, okay? Boys are boys, girls are girls. That's reality. And he stated that loudly and proudly on Vlad TV. And of course, the mob got upset.
You know what I hate? I hate when people act like stating an opinion and calling it opinion absolves them from any of the responsibility for what they actually have to say. Case in point, Neo. Neo was interviewed on Vlad TV. Somehow the conversation about trans people came up, and he was saying basically how he didn't understand how children as young as 5 or 6 or 12 can make life-altering decisions for themselves. As a parent, if your kid wants to be a goldfish, he can be a goldfish. Comparing trans people to children wanting to be animals, that's cool. And then he goes on to make some unfounded, debunked claim about how California courts are taking away children because their parents don't want them to get gender-affirming care. Completely not true, but it's his opinion, and he states it. And other people who are fans of Neo or who watch Vlad TV are seeing this public figure saying something completely inaccurate with all his throat. Like, everybody agrees with me. It's just common sense. But everybody doesn't know what they're talking about, just like you. And what you're doing is you're spreading misinformation, clouding people's judgment about something that you know nothing about. Because you have a platform, people listen to your opinion. And for many of them, your opinion is law. It's not just something that one person holds as factually inaccurate as it may be. It's that Neo holds it. And Neo has millions of adoring fans across the globe who agree with whatever he says just because he's saying it. Even if he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, just because he says it. And so many people don't recognize the importance of how your opinion impacts the real world. It's not just something that you can say and pass off like there's not going to be any fallout or consequence. That's not true. When you say things like comparing a transgender child to a child wanting to be a goldfish, you're diminishing the real life implications of what it is to be transgender just because you don't understand it. Your lack of understanding and knowledge, your ignorance, doesn't excuse your behavior. Just like the comedian who tells the off-color joke that ends up with trans people being killed. You hold responsibility for your words, opinions or not.
Now, again, in my first video reaction to what he was saying, I told you guys straight up, I was like, this man's gonna apologize, okay? He gonna apologize to the mob, because I've been in the game so long, guys, that all this stuff is very predictable, okay? So I'm not giving myself a pat on the back, okay? Even though this is an I told you so video, this was probably one of the easiest I told you so's that I've ever done, okay? Because it's obvious. It happens every single time. This guy clearly was unaware of the backlash that he would face, of the phone calls from them that he would be getting when he made those comments, right? And again, that's just how it goes. This is par for the course. I was even right down to how he would apologize, okay? We're going to get into his apology, but first, I want to get into some of the backlash he received from the mob, right, for simply stating facts about reality, because they roasted him, right? They roasted Neo, okay? As you can see here, this guy is saying he identifies as a conehead in response to his comments about identifying as a goldfish, right? So they roasting his head because he's bald, okay? they roasted him up, okay? He's saying a bunch of nothing. Just say you're transphobic and go. They're saying he's transphobic. This mentality is how parents end up burying their children. Okay, so they're pushing the same nonsense that, you know, if you don't support, you know, the far left woke gender ideology, that, you know, kids are going to delete themselves. This is what they say. This made up celebrity thinks anyone cares about his transphobia. It's always the most zesty with the most to say. Now, Neo, again, so they're low-key trying to call him gay, right? Neo gets passed around. He's a power bottom in the industry until he walks in his truth. I don't think anyone cares what he says. Yeah, so he tried to say he's low-key gay, right? He's in the closet, which is funny because anytime you don't want to go along with the LGBTQ agenda, the radical agenda, they say that you're gay, right? You're gay if you don't want to go along with our agenda. It's just so funny how that works. They are coming after him for being an R. Kelly apologist, right? He says, coming from a man who is literally an R. Kelly apologist, you don't care about kids at all, Neo. Again, you know, this guy Neo is a father of like 5 or 6 kids or something like that, a whole bunch of kids, okay? So, you know, they're calling the man gay. They're saying he's an R. Kelly apologist, right? They're saying he's transphobic. Again, this is what the mob is saying. So Neo got on his knees, right, and issued a groveling apology to the mob, just like I said he would, in the exact way that I said that he would, right? So let's go ahead and read Neo's apology. Quote, "I'd like to express my deepest apologies. After much of reflection, I'd like to express my deepest apologies to anyone that I may have hurt with my comments on parenting and gender ideology or identity. I've always been an advocate for love and inclusivity in the LGBTQ community. So I understand how my comments could have been interpreted as insensitive and offensive. Gender identity is nuanced, and I can honestly admit that I plan to better educate myself on the topic so I can approach future conversations with more empathy. At the end of the day, I lead with love and support everyone's freedom of expression and pursuit of happiness." Yeah, so again, they gave this man a phone call and said, look, if you want to keep your career, right, if you want to keep making money, you need to come out here and issue an apology right now. Do what you got to do and apologize, okay? This is what they told this man to do. And this, guys, is a prime example of what you have to do to be in the industry, right? To be a part of Hollywood, the entertainment industry, you have to sell your soul, right? This man literally is selling his soul, right? That's what's happening, because he spoke on this issue with such conviction, right? As a parent, he was like, I'm not letting my boy be a girl, okay? And he said that with conviction, right? He was stern. But again, it took less than 48 hours for this man to fold like origami on this issue as soon as the woke mob started the backlash. Again, he started getting them phone calls from his handlers telling him, hey, this is unacceptable, right? You're being transphobic, right? You need to apologize right now. We don't care if what you're saying is true, right? We don't care what you're saying is facts, right? Reality. You got to apologize. And what's funny is that now he's getting roasted for apologizing from the right. Again, this is a Bud Light scenario, right? This is a Bud Light scenario. Like, once you get involved in this, right? Once you step into this arena, you got to pick a side, right? If you don't pick a side, what happens is that you're going to get roasted by everybody, right? And if you apologize, you're going to get roasted, right? Again, this is what happens when you start to speak out about stuff like this, and Neo is experiencing. I mean, he's getting absolutely destroyed in these comments. Massive L and very cowardly. Never caved to the mob. Weak. You have nothing to apologize for. Massive L. Cave and placate. Cowardly. Capitulation. Pitiful. Unfollow. Same. Very disappointing. Weak as F. Do not apologize to these monsters who are trying to destroy kids. Be a man and take a stand for kids. Don't humor this lunacy. Look at the comments, dog. You're a legendary R&B singer with a 70% female audience. Who do you think objects to what you said in the real world? Exactly. Neo, you're a man. You've written great songs for women and about women your whole life. You marry a woman and watch her have 3 of your daughters. God gave you 4 women to protect and provide for. You're siding with dudes in dresses and wigs that can steal identities. Come on, sir. So disappointed. You know you don't believe this. He transitioned. Coward. Do not be weak, Neo. You spoke facts that needed to be heard. Damn, that's a coward move. Yeah. I mean, again, it's predictable. It was easily predictable because this is what happens every single time. Okay, this is what happens, right? They gave Neo a phone call, right? They castrated him. Okay, they cut off his cojones, right? And he went out here with his tail tucked between his legs and gave this groveling apology on his knees to the mob because, again, if you want to be in this industry, if you want to be a part of the game, if you want to keep making money in woke world, right, in liberal land, which is the entertainment industry, you have to get on board with the agenda, right? You got to get on board with it. And I mean, that's just the reality. So, hey, I'm not surprised. I'm a little disappointed in Neo. He's a good singer. He's a very talented guy. But hey, man, welcome to politics, right? Welcome to politics. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.